You know, everybody is going crazy because, well, apparently the Haikyu anime show is over. Yeah, that came out of nowhere. There is no season 5, and apparently there won't ever be a season 5. And I'm going to use the word apparently again because apparently there's two movies that are technically one movie just split into two parts, which is kind of two movies anyway, and those movies / movie will be the end to the Haikyu anime. Now, could this change in the future? Yeah. But could we also be invaded by aliens in the future? Yeah. Anything is possible, but of course, if final literally means this is our final piece of Haikyu anime content for the canon story, then I think it's kind of time to talk about something that can probably help out your desire for more Haikyu while also giving you something a bit different, but different in a good way. You see, a new anime actually came out last year and most of you guys actually missed it. The studio animating it was David Production, and it was directed by the same guy who did JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind, and the script was handled by the same guy who did My Hero Academia, and the music was done by the same guy who did Psycho Pass. So there's talent behind this show, and obviously this show has the Kanjic stamp of approval. Now, I'm going to say something probably very controversial and highly opinionated, but this show at the moment only has one season, but I enjoyed the first season of this anime more than Haikyuu season 1. Yes, I know, go crazy, start a war, but wouldn't it be better to just enjoy the show along with me? Now, am I sponsored by this show or getting paid to talk about this? No, I wish. I really wish I was. I just like this show, and I genuinely think there's plenty of other Haikyuu fans that would love it too. Although, it seems a lot of people don't have anime like Haikyuu to watch on certain streaming apps to begin with. So many people, every time I talk about best anime on Netflix, always comment down that a certain anime I talked about isn't there, but that's just because your country server is actually the problem. You see, on my Netflix right now, I got the goods. All seasons of like all the main anime right now. NordVPN has over 5,500 servers in 59 countries, so you can find a server near you for better speed or in a faraway location for more content on your major streaming platforms and the web. Plus, you might even get your streaming for a cheaper price or get a streaming service that doesn't even exist where you live by just changing your location, which literally only takes one click. And of course, it also works for gaming too. You can change your location and get the games you want or play with the people you want to play with. It also is pretty awesome with security. As someone who's online a lot, when an intrusive ad comes up, I often get a little annoyed. NordVPN has threat protection that blocks intrusive ads and web trackers. When a user downloads a file, threat protection actually even inspects it for malware. It also automatically scans URLs and blocks malicious ones. This is basically a virtual guardian angel here, something that you don't want to miss out on. And right now, for a limited time, NordVPN has actually got you guys covered by using the link in the description. You can try out NordVPN risk-free for 4 months. 4 months extra than anybody else. So let's get on that VPN. Now, the word Haikyuu, for those that do not know, literally means volleyball. So technically, yes, this new anime is a new Haikyuu anime because it's a new volleyball anime. But honestly, it isn't a cookie cutter carbon copy of Haikyuu where you would just get annoyed because you'd feel like you can't replace such a beloved series with a ripoff. Because, well, this isn't a ripoff. You see, what I actually think the first season of this show did better than the first season of Haikyuu is there is more story and character development. And yes, I know it's just a first season. Why do we need a lot of character development in a season 1? Well, we don't. We don't need that. But it worked for this show. I don't want to spoil you much, but like Haikyuu, it starts off with a guy who wants to start a volleyball team, but is left with a bunch of people in his new school who just don't care for volleyball that much. Of course, Shoyo Hinata ended up going to a new school for high school, and so does this character for this show, but he already switched schools because he pushed a student so hard to do good in volleyball, he attempted to kill himself. suicide. There's drama with family members and past trauma with the characters of this show, and that plays into all the volleyball. And once we get halfway through the season, things get much more action focused, where you feel you kind of have Haikyuu again, even though it's different teams and different characters. So yes, this anime is kind of more grown up, kind of more mature in the beginning, in the first half, than Haikyuu. However, it does develop more into kind of like how Haikyuu is. The anime has a long name though. It's 2.43 Seinen Boys Volleyball Team, but we could just call it 2.43 because that's just so much easier. I didn't know how I was going to feel about it, but I liked it, and it's honestly something that emphasized my biggest critique with Haikyuu, and that was that take away the volleyball matches and the show pretty much has very minimal stuff. I know that's obviously the point of the show, and that's not something bad about it. I love Haikyuu. It's good. It's a very entertaining show. But sports anime that also have very interesting story going on with the characters besides exactly their sports game are the best sports anime I like the most. Although if you want a sports anime that gets real dark real quick, check out Stars Align. That's just insane. Even though I wish one of the episodes didn't exist with that show because I kind of just felt uncomfortable and didn't like it. But yeah, this is the type of sports anime Konjic watches, guys. The sports anime that deals with very dramatic things with the characters besides actually playing the sport that they're playing. Yeah, but it still is a sports anime like Haikyuu, and not simply because it's volleyball, but simply literally how Haikyuu is. Although the funny thing is, there are actually some characters that look like Haikyuu characters. Like, they literally resemble, like, if they're like family members to certain characters of Haikyuu, and I think that's a pretty funny thing. You're gonna obviously see that with the two main characters of this show. And of course, it makes you think, imagine if Haikyuu and this anime had a crossover. That's probably never going to happen, although it would be pretty interesting. There's obviously would be jokes about how some characters look like other characters. I'm pretty sure Shoyo Hinata would literally make a joke about that. And this is actually a good thing for me because usually with a lot of sports, there are multiple anime that are pretty popular for that sport. But when it comes to volleyball, it seems Haikyuu has kind of been that only anime there. And now, especially if we're fans of Haikyuu, we get another anime to watch on that sport and to resemble that anime. So check that out, and guys, let me know what you guys think. My name's Konjic, I love you, and I'll talk to you in the next video.
And I can say that I'm great, yeah, I can say that I'm perfect. I ain't the one that was out here saving lives, I was purchased. Now we about to take you out if you try to act toxic. I'ma send you straight up to my main man, Konjic.